Eles estão buscando lugar nesse sistema.
I don't think it's going to change.
That we have to come together if we want these changes to be brought in the new development bank.
We're also concerned about, the well-being of people in those countries.
BRICS is for capitalists. Finish.
In 2014, the BRICS 6 summit was held with the heads of the governments of Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Both the establishment of the BRICS Bank and of its monetary fund were officialized. Without space in the official summit, civil society organizations held a parallel meeting. Representatives from the BRICS and from other nations denounced the impact of this economic relationship, and they also demanded social participation in the bloc.
A Constituição dos BRICS é mais ou menos nova na geopolítica internacional. A nossa leitura é que eles constituem um bloco que não disputa o modelo, mas eles estão buscando lugar nesse sistema que desloque a centralidade absoluta da Europa, dos Estados Unidos.
Countries themselves are hegemonic powers within each region. They could be economic powers, military powers, political powers. I mean, they are powerful countries.
I think if you look at the history of the BRICS and why it created, it's aimed to to rebalance or break down this imbalanced power.
Tem aspecto importante contra anti-imperialista na Constituição dos BRICS? Eu acho que sim. Agora, eles são o nosso bloco que vai constituir modelo de desenvolvimento alternativo? Não, eu acho que não.
Esses países também estão em crise. Então esses países estão buscando outras áreas para explorar. Minério na África toda, que tem muito, territórios ainda desocupados que tem no Brasil.
A economia extrativista, ela é uma das bases da Constituição desse bloco dos BRICS, extração de minérios, criação de infraestrutura para viabilizar a exportação de minérios, grande compra de minérios e de produtos agrícolas pela China, produção de manufaturados a preço popular que voltam para os nossos mercados, ajudam a desindustrializar os nossos países, porque tem preços muito mais baratos, enfim, então tem todo um ciclo conectado aí.
The first thing that one needs to talk about is the fact that mining companies, when they come to communities, they present themselves as though they are for charity. They tell lies to the communities saying that they are going to provide, job opportunities, they're going to contribute to economic development. And at the end, they come and they destroy the environment. They come and they create unhappiness, social conflicts within communities, and create dependency and desperation, because at the end of the day, as they come, they find communities that have been surviving for years without them.
With the BRICS, they are more about, generating income, they are more about making money. So, and in so doing, when you make money, the interest of the community comes last. I think to say that we don't understand the impacts of the climate change is not true. If you talk to farmers, or if you talk to the fishermen, I think that the climate change has been impacting, because the farming is going down, the fishing catch is going down, and it's because of the changing environment.
All the people in this earth, on this planet, are suffering from the climate change because of the past economic driven development. So the pollutions, all the environment degradations, and linking with the drinking water, polluted drinking water, and also polluted soil, that you cannot produce safe food.
In India, it's like, the rainfall is not happening when it should happen, and it impacts farmers, it impacts people who are really poor, because people in the middle class and rich class are going to survive, but it's the poor people who are not going to be able to cope up with the changes in the climate change, very severe weathers.
The communities cannot afford to buy, purified water, cannot afford to buy bottled water. It is the executives of the mining companies, their families, that are able to escape, all the illnesses and the sicknesses that are associated with contaminated water. The poor drink water that is carrying with it metals, such as zinc, aluminum, and so forth.
A lot of farmers in India are also committing suicide because there is not enough, if they don't get the crops, they are not able to pay their debt back. And if in those circumstances, all they have to do is to commit suicide. So I think that is something which is happening in India, and it's a very sad example of how climate change can impact.
Novo Banco de Desenvolvimento, e aí eu já estou com o slogan que é Novo Banco para o Novo Desenvolvimento, para que seja possível esse diálogo.
This is a bank. It's a bank, right? It's the business. They have to make a profit. It's not aimed to interfere the social policy or whatever. But I think as the people from those countries, as the taxpayers that actually will contribute this the share of this bank, we also concerned about not only the business, not only the physical infrastructure. We're also concerned about the well-being of people in those countries.
Hopefully this platform can really address the issues of inequality, social exclusion, how to improve the social services, and the infrastructures can build to connect people through road, can improve the living conditions by bringing the electricity to the rural villages, and to bring the health services to the remote areas. But of course, in this global economic model, there's also a lot of risk if we depend too high on these BRICS banks and BRICS countries.
I don't know how much the BRICS Bank is actually going to look at social policies. It seems that they are more interested in the investment in infrastructure projects, but we need to push them to look more at the social policies as well, or at least to ensure that they are not contradictory.
I totally agree that as a civil society that we have to come together if we want these changes to be brought in the new development bank or how the new BRICS countries are going to go forward. But what we have seen till now, there is no space in the official BRICS summit. There is no space for the civil society. We are sitting in this venue and we are talking to each other. We are not talking to the people who are actually making the decision.
BRICS is for them to maximize their profits. Because if it was for the development of the people, we will be having, as communities, a committee that is representing us there.
For me, I don't really see a lot of opportunities to actually be in a dialogue with my government.
And I personally think that it's the global movement's responsibility to send a message across to those companies and corporates.
Eu acho que a gente precisa chamar uma unidade maior das populações e das organizações, dos movimentos sociais do Sul. A gente precisa se conhecer.
Civil society movements in India are very robust, as is Brazil, as is South Africa, much less so in China and Russia.
I mean, in Russia also, in the past couple of years, the civil rights movement has been under serious oppression, and lots of laws have been passed to put active members of the community, behind bars. I was talking to a colleague from China who said that they have had the same process for the last couple of years, the exact same process, and that China and Russia are almost mirroring off each other. And I think that the BRICS coalition could potentially lead to governments like ours in Russia feeling that they have support for their internal politics, that they have allies in all these different countries. And so I think that they will feel more free to keep on, tightening the screws.
As alternativas, elas ainda não têm uma força à altura do desafio, né? É como se a gente tivesse um conjunto de gritos, de desesperos, né, do não sendo dito de muitas formas, e isso ainda leva um tempo histórico para se constituir, para se articular numa alternativa que possa de fato fazer uma disputa sistêmica.
So it's a complex picture, but I think we need to start discussing all the complexities and then come up with an agenda that is, as I said, that is positive, but also brings the strong challenge to the current development paradigm.